What's up, YouTube? ProTech here, back with another StarCraft 2 video for you. This time it's going to be on the Dusty Gorge against two Zerg players. One random, one Terran. Oh, that Zerg player was in the last video. In the last video, the Zerg player went for like a 12 pool, right? And typically with players like that, a pattern that I've noticed with players who go for early pools like that, they generally will do this the majority of the games that they play. So, keeping that in mind, the strongest build against Zerg one base play in team games for Terran is a 3 Rex Reaper spam. And it may not be the strongest, but I've had the most success with this open based off what I think is going to happen. I'd give myself about a 60% chance that the Zerg player will do some kind of a one base play. But it's a little different on a map like this, you know, because the illusion of safety, you know, is presented in a way that these two bases back here just kind of make players feel like they're safe, right? And if you're going to see an all-in, typically you're going to see it coming out of this player, like that location. The only problem with going for the Reaper spam on this map, the location that I spawned in is not very good for it because it just takes a long time for my units to get to the fight. So those roaches are incredibly early. So because my teammate has expanded, that means that his army is going to be weaker than both the opponents and myself. Why? Because I've been making units and all they've been doing is making units while he has been expanding, right? So I need to keep making units which will empower whatever it is he's doing. And all the while just kind of like trading the best I can and macroing behind it. So that's a double drop. So you see the decision that I made to continue this Reaper spam and force out units instead of economy means that at this point the guy has to catch up in economy, so he's not going to have many units, right? Which will make his push a lot stronger. Kind of failed on my macro a little bit there, but it's not like the end of the world, because I still have a sizable army, and my teammate, if he isn't bronze, he'll be way ahead of literally everybody in the game. Oh, my other barracks never queued up, that's weird. So from this point forward, we should have a pretty significant lead. My teammate denied that bottom Zerg's third base, which is really important for Zerg and Legacy of the Void right now. So at this point, I'm just kind of ramping up my production, building a solid army. And all the while, I mean, we're getting better trades. Like to the point where, I mean, even if we're losing our army here, it doesn't really matter because we're just getting better trades. And then this is the type of game where I feel so far ahead, I don't really need to do anything but go bio. I have no scan for the creep. So at the end of the day, I mean, I'm not pushing to like try and win the game. I'm just pushing to force units and like just not let him build a bank, right? So while the engagements aren't necessarily good, at the end of the day, they are actually really good engagements. But like, you know, maybe if I had better control or whatever, the game probably could have ended sooner. But at the end of the day, it's I'm accomplishing what I need to accomplish to win. And that's the important part. Like, there's probably not much saturation here at all, see? Literally bare. So this game is it's what we call death marching, or what that's like what the strategy is. So like at the start of the game, I went for the Reaper spam, right? And what this did was it forced out a lot of units from my opponents. Instead of working and building on an economy. So it got like, and because we did that, or because I did that, my teammate went for what's called a 2-1-1, where you go for 2 racks in a reactored factory, and by the time the 2 medevacs come out, you have enough marines to fill up both medevacs. It's called a 2-1-1. Now, originally the reason I did that build was not because I wanted to end the game, or I was like trying to do a cheese. I've played against this Zerg player a lot, and he does a lot of one base all-ins, and the best way to deal with that is by going for 3 racks yourself. But it's like actually the best way to deal with it. So that's why I did that strategy. And I did it really well. I traded a lot of units. I never really lost the bulk of my army. And what this did was, when his 2-1-1 came out, when my teammate went for the drop, it was at a time where that Zerg player, because he had to make units earlier in the game, and he didn't really retain all of them, he lost a lot of them to my Reapers. When my teammate went in for the drop, he just wiped out his 3rd for free. And while it didn't end the game, the 2-1-1 traded really efficiently, which meant that we could keep the economic lead going throughout the course of the entire game. So if we go to the graphs, this is what happens when you do my build and you do it to perfection. So you see that this is the resource collection rate tab. And you can see that my teammate is green, or teal rather, and I'm purple. You can see how even though I sacrificed my own economy at the start of the game, you can see how low the economies were from both blue and red throughout the whole course of the game. And this is the idea behind that strategy that I do, or the strategy that I did in this game. It keeps their economy really low, and your economy keeps going up. And that's what you're trying to accomplish with that build. Yes, it's powerful. It's very powerful to win right off the rip. But that isn't the goal of the strat. The goal of the strat is what you see here. And what I mentioned earlier before about death marching is when you know that you have a better economy, you can just rally your troops across the map from the Terran perspective. and a TVZ, you can just rally your troops across the map and just keep trading, keep trading, keep trading. It doesn't even have to be a good trade, because eventually, because your economy is so much better, you're going to overrun him, right? But in order to do that, you have to set it up. And of course, there are many different ways to set it up, but generally speaking in 2v2, the way to set that up is by going for that 3-Rack Reaper play. So big shout out to the sponsors, top left of the screen. Videos would not be possible without you guys. I really appreciate it. And if you guys like this, sub to the channel, click that follow button. I'm gonna add all of my social media links down below, as well as my Discord. So if you guys have any questions or want to hang out with me, talk to me or whatever in Discord, you're welcome to do so. And yeah, that'll be it for this video. Have a good day, gentlemen, and I'll see you with the next one.